I'm Naki Sora on Lights Out Stories. Kill the lights, hold your breath, and spend the night with me in fear, to learn the truth that daylight denies.
What if a conspiracy theory from the 90s wasn't just a paranoid fantasy, but a detailed playbook for global deception? What if Serge Monast's chilling blueprint wasn't dismissed because it was crazy, but because it was true? Now, decades later, the technology he warned about is here. And it's already being used. Introducing Serge Monast, the forgotten whistleblower that paid with his life. In 1994, Canadian journalist Serge Monast claimed he had uncovered a blueprint for the ultimate deception, a four-stage plan to enslave humanity using holograms, mind control, and simulated catastrophes. They called him a lunatic. They buried his warnings. But what if it was all true? What if it's happening right now? Tonight, we're diving into the chilling origins of Project Bluebeam, the 90s fad that never died. In fact, it's just getting started. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Each second slips away, dragging us closer to a moment we can't escape. But what if the whispers we brushed off as paranoia in the 90s weren't just the ramblings of conspiracy theorists? What if they were coded warnings, prophecies, clues to a meticulously crafted plan? A dark, insidious blueprint hiding in plain sight, a blueprint for the ultimate deception. The clock is ticking, and every second lost is one we'll never get back. It's 1994, a simpler, more innocent time. The streets hum with life, the air thick with the scent of fresh popcorn from the corner video rental store. Neon signs flicker, casting soft, colorful glows against the brick walls. Teenagers huddle together, laughing, snapping Polaroids, and comparing cassette tapes they've just bought at the local record shop. At home, families gather around bulky box televisions, adjusting rabbit ear antennas to catch the latest sitcom. Phones with long, spiraling cords stretch across kitchens as parents chat with neighbors, voices echoing down the hall. Kids race outside on their BMX bikes, screaming and playing until the streetlights come on, the universal signal to come home. There's no internet to consume their attention, no smartphones to pull them away from the world around them. Friends actually look each other in the eye. Lovers pass handwritten notes, folded into intricate shapes, tucked into lockers. The world feels more connected, more tangible, more real. But beneath that innocence, beneath the laughter and the Polaroids and the payphones, something was already beginning to change. Something we couldn't see. Oblivious, unaware, but just outside the crowd, at the very edge of the frame, stands a man. His clothes are rumpled, his hands shaking. He's clutching a stack of papers, their edges frayed, ink smeared with urgency. His eyes, wide, frantic, dart through the crowd. That man is Serge Monast. He tries to speak, tries to warn them, but no one listens. They laugh. They move on. They're too busy to hear him, too distracted to notice. What he holds in his hands is a warning, a blueprint, a secret that was never supposed to be uncovered, but no one sees it. No one believes it. In 1994, Canadian journalist Serge Monast claimed to have uncovered a plan so horrifying, so insidious that it sounded like the plot of a sci-fi horror film. He called it Project Bluebeam. A lone man stands before a restless crowd, eyes darting from face to face, searching for a single sign of understanding. His clothes are wrinkled, his hair disheveled, and sweat glistens on his brow. In his trembling hands, he clutches a chaotic stack of papers, ink smudged, pages crumpled, the edges fraying like a mind unraveling. Each sheet is marked with frantic red-circled dates, scribbled notes scrawled in a feverish hand. Diagrams of satellites arc across the pages like ominous constellations, lines connecting to form eerie, cryptic holograms that seem to pulsate with dark intent. Serge Monast's voice cracks as he speaks, each word a desperate plea. He thrusts the papers forward, pointing to the red circled dates. Connections, he says. He jabs a finger at the satellite sketches. Warnings, he insists. He waves the holograms in the air. Illusions, he cries. Illusions designed to deceive, to control. But the crowd? They scoff. They shake their heads. A woman rolls her eyes and turns away. A man mutters, "Lunatic," under his breath. Laughter ripples through the crowd, the kind of laughter reserved for the unhinged, the outcast. But Monast doesn't stop. His eyes are wild now, frantic. He keeps shouting, his words tumbling out like a dam that's burst. He waves the papers like a prophet, each sheet a warning that no one wants to hear. Because he knows what they don't. He sees what they refuse to see. And the clock is ticking. The passage paints a vivid picture of humanity's collective distraction and ignorance. People are so consumed by their daily routines, chasing wealth, supporting their families, indulging in vices, that they've become blind to the bigger picture. They act as if they're invincible, as if life will go on indefinitely, never questioning the reality they're trapped in. It's a cycle, a prison of their own making, and they can't see the bars. The ones who seek the truth, however, see the world for what it really is. A carefully constructed illusion designed to keep people asleep. While the world laughs, the truth seekers pity them because they know what lies beneath the facade. Back then, they called him a lunatic. They said he was paranoid, delusional. But what if he was none of those things? What if he was right? But what is the blue beam? A beam of mysterious, otherworldly origin. It's not just light. It's a force, a frequency that penetrates the mind, implanting knowledge, visions, or perhaps illusions. But the source? Untraceable. It's as if the beam originates from somewhere outside our reality, a place beyond the reach of human comprehension. Why? Blue. Blue is the color of the sky, the heavens, the divine. It's the color that signifies authority and trust. But in this context, it's something far darker. Blue is also the frequency that can pierce deeply, resonating at a level that can slip into the subconscious, undetected, unchallenged. Now consider the U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book, a program supposedly dedicated to investigating UFO sightings. But what if the real objective was to harness the beam, to capture its essence and imprison it in a book of false narratives? A controlled version of the truth, a manufactured story to keep the masses docile and blind. What if the blue beam was a force of true enlightenment, a gift meant to awaken us, but the shadow governments twisted it, weaponizing its power to imprison our minds with their fabricated reality? The 4 stages of blue beam. Monast laid it all out. 4 stages, 4 terrifying steps to take total control of humanity, and with every passing day, the pieces keep falling into place. Stage 1. Alien invasion. A world where alien ships appear in the skies, not to invade, but to unite. Monast said they'd use holograms, advanced aircraft, and false flag operations to make the world believe we're under attack from other worlds. The goal? To unite humanity under one world government. In the 90s, these sightings were dismissed as crackpot theories. Today, the U.S. government is admitting they're real. Age 2. Religious holograms. Next, they would use holographic technology to project religious figures in the sky, messiahs, deities, gods, all delivering the same message: bow down, submit, unite. In early October 2015, residents of Foshan in Guangdong province looked up in astonishment as a city seemed to materialize amidst the clouds. Footage, shot by dozens of onlookers, shows what appears to be skyscrapers, tower blocks, spires, and glass facades hanging eerily in the mist above the urban skyline. Witnesses describe the vision as glitching, in and out of focus, as if a digital rendering gone awry. Local social media exploded with images and videos, sparking speculation about holographic experiments or even a portal to another dimension. Yet meteorologists quickly pointed to a classic atmospheric phenomenon, the Fata Morgana mirage. Under precise temperature inversions, when a layer of warm air traps cooler, denser air below, distant objects or terrain can be refracted and projected skyward, creating the illusion of a floating city. Scientists noted that around October 3rd to 5th, the same weather patterns that fueled Typhoon Mujigae's outer bands also set the stage for these dramatic mirages over Guangdong, offering a natural explanation for what many first assumed was supernatural Snopes Business Insider. Snopes, after reviewing the viral footage, confirmed that the Foshan floating city was indeed a mirage and not an elaborate hoax or secret military test. They traced the imagery back to local news outlets and amateur videographers, showing how slight variations in humidity and temperature layers can lift the refracted skyline hundreds of meters above its true position, only to have it vanish minutes later when the air layers shift. Science blogs and outlets such as Business Insider and Fox 26 Houston publish detailed breakdowns of the optics at play, emphasizing that what seemed otherworldly was, in fact, a perfect alignment of physics and weather conditions. Fox 26 Houston Business Insider. But this wasn't the first time technology or illusion had made us question reality. Flash back to April 2012 on the main stage at Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival in Indio, California. Halfway through Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg's headlining set, the silhouette of a familiar figure emerged in semi-transparent form. Tupac Shakur, the West Coast legend who'd been murdered in 1996. Dubbed a hologram by eager reporters, the apparition was actually created via the modern incarnation of Pepper's Ghost, a 19th century theatrical trick, using the Musion eyeliner system to project archived footage onto a foil-like screen. As Tupac performed Hail Mary and Two of America's Most Wanted, the audience roared, caught between disbelief and nostalgia. Media coverage, from NPR's technical deep dive to The Guardian's cultural commentary, hailed the stunt as both a technological marvel and a provocative commentary on mortality in the digital age. NPR, The Guardian. Behind the scenes, Digital Domain Media Group and AV Concepts spent months scanning Tupac's facial features and recreating his voice and movements, all with permission from his estate. Afeni Shakur herself gave the go-ahead, expressing excitement that her son's legacy could inspire a new generation. Yet industry insiders cautioned that calling it a true hologram was a stretch. It was, as Dr. Dre later clarified, a one-off experiment, not the start of a Resurrect on Tour Los Angeles Times BBC. Even so, the performance sparked legal debates over posthumous image rights, the ethics of reviving deceased artists, and the future of live entertainment, discussions that echo to this day whenever we see figures of the past projected into our present. Two incidents, two illusions, one born of nature's fickle optics, the other of human ingenuity. Both remind us that in an age where science and spectacle interweave, reality is often a matter of perception, one that we may never stop questioning. In the 90s, they said holograms were impossible. Today, We see them every day, on stage, in advertisements, in the sky. What's next? Stage 3. Mind control. Monast warned that the next step was to take control of the human mind, not with guns or bombs, but with frequencies. LF, VLF, LF waves, sound frequencies that could implant thoughts, create visions, make you believe you're hearing the voice of God. In the hidden depths of Pentagon research, DARPA once poured resources into programs that today sound like science fiction. They called them sanguine, silent talk, rethink. They believed they could reach into the human mind, read thoughts before they formed, erase memories with magnetic pulses, even plant commands without a word spoken. Tiny electrodes thinner than a human hair were slipped beneath the skull, tuned to the faintest flicker of neural activity. In one laboratory, volunteers imagined simple commands: run, stop, attack, and watched as computers decoded their intent. As budgets shifted into the new millennium, those experiments evolved into brain-computer interfaces. Microscopic chips, no larger than a grain of rice, were woven into the cortex to suppress fear, sharpen focus, alter moods. Declassified documents reveal soldiers waking from secret sleep studies to journals they did not write and nightmares they could not explain. Today, those same breakthroughs power Neuralink's ambitious implants. Silicon threads snake through living tissue, capturing the electrical symphony of thought. Early trials boasted remarkable control, but at what cost? Seizures, phantom sensations, dreams overwritten by static echoes of machine noise. They once dismissed mind control as mere conspiracy. Now we know the truth. Every covert trial, every classified experiment paved the way toward a world where the signal flows both ways. Whoever masters that signal will hold dominion over the most private fortress of all, the human mind. Stage 4. Simulated apocalypse. Imagine a world teetering on the edge of chaos, cities swallowed by darkness, winds howling through deserted streets, thunderous blasts tearing open the sky. Monast warned that these disasters wouldn't be real destruction, but curated terror. They would manufacture fear, summon us to our knees, desperate for shelter, desperate for control. Night after night, reports poured in of colossal explosions, blasts so powerful they rattled windows and shattered nerves. Yet when the haze lifted, there was nothing to find. No craters, no debris, no evidence of any detonation. Only empty air where horror had been. People turned skyward, hearts pounding as eerie lights hovered for a heartbeat before flickering out, leaving only silence in their wake. Was it a glitch in their grand design? A chilling message sent across the heavens, or the prelude to something far darker? They called it a blackout, a freak storm, a trick of the mind. But what if it was all part of the experiment? What if those phantom blasts were stage 4 of Monast's blueprint, designed not to kill, but to break us? Modern tech that aligns with Bluebeam. Monast was ridiculed. They called him crazy. But today, we're surrounded by the technology he warned about: holograms, mind control, artificial weather. Look around, it's not the future. It's right now. Holographic tech. Remember when holograms were just movie tricks? Today, we have sky ads, military-grade projections, and AI-generated visuals so real you can almost touch them. Footage of the 2018 Tupac hologram, then the floating city in China. Alien invasion simulation. In the 90s, aliens were a joke. Today, they're government-confirmed phenomena, and they're showing up over military bases and nuclear sites, just like Monast predicted. Mind control technology. From Neuralink to AI-driven behavioral tracking, they're not just watching you. They're inside your mind. But who's controlling the signal? Simulated apocalypse. Patents for weather control. AI-generated disasters, deepfakes so real you can't tell what's truth and what's terror. Mysterious deaths and disappearances. In late 1996, Serge Monast collapsed, struck down by what doctors called a sudden heart attack. Yet those closest to him whispered of darker forces at play, shadowy figures trailing his every move, whispers on tapped phone lines, unmarked cars parked outside his home all night long. They branded him paranoid, delusional, a fanatic consumed by wild conspiracies. But Monast was far from alone. Journalists who dug too deeply into clandestine mind control projects disappeared without a word. Engineers who built experimental holograms vanished from their labs, their work wiped from every archive. Even eyewitnesses to phantom catastrophes, those deafening explosions with no origin, were never heard from again. Were these men and women merely products of their own fears? Or were they prophets, silenced before their warnings could break free? The evidence we ignored. They called him a conspiracy theorist. But today, UAAP are real. Holograms are real. Mind control is real. Monast warned us decades ago, and yet we did nothing. Across the eastern seaboard, from Maine to Florida, thousands of eyewitnesses have reported fleets of silent, darting craft, so small they could be mistaken for drones yet moving with impossible speed and precision. Governments have quietly declassified the files, admitting that what we once called UFOs and flying saucers are now UAAP, unidentified anomalous aerial phenomena, an intentional rebranding to soften the truth. Even more shocking, the men and women who ran these programs have stepped forward themselves. They were not outsiders or whistleblowers in hiding. They were the directors, the engineers, the operatives who built the very systems meant to keep us in the dark. Their admissions read like Monast's old warnings come to life. Craft that defy physics, systems that bend reality, and invisible signals capable of shutting down power grids, disabling warheads, and crippling entire command centers with a single pulse, exactly as Stage 1 described. 6 episodes, 6 prophecies, 6 warnings whispered in the dark. Episode 1 revealed the man who dared to speak the impossible and paid with his life. Episode 2 will show you the sky alive with shapes that shouldn't exist. Episode 3 will cast the gods themselves in electric light. Episode 4 will probe the hidden frequencies that steer our thoughts. Episode 5 will unleash disasters that vanish without a trace. Episode 6 will ask the question no one has dared to answer. What if Project Bluebeam was never merely fiction, but the opening act of humanity's greatest deception? Stay with us, because when the final curtain rises, you may discover that the real show has only just begun. The deception was only the beginning. And you have a front row seat. In the coming weeks, we'll unmask the hidden stages of Project Bluebeam, revealing the truths they don't want you to see. Will you dare to watch the sky twist into lies? Subscribe now and ring that bell because you have already seen episode 1. There's no turning back. Join me, Naki Sora, and awaken before the final act. Lights out. Stories, where every revelation cuts deeper than the darkness. See you in the next video. And yes, you are brave enough, because we all need to be.
Thanks for braving the dark with me. I loved every chilling minute we spent together. Subscribe and meet me here for the next nightmare. Sleep tight.